If I were a Queenslander, I would be absolutely furious today with that state government. 8 new virus infections reported today. You may think, well, see, that just proves that the Palaszczuk government was right to lock down Brisbane for 3 days. But I reckon this proves something else. It proves that this government is not doing the basics to keep that state both safe and open for business. 5 of these 8 new cases are people who were at a party attended by a nurse and her sister who were later found to be infected.
They're all linked cases and they all attended a party together down in Byron Bay.
Okay, so they used 5 people, I presume, already traced and isolated after the nurse first tested positive. So this lockdown should have made no difference with these cases. But the bigger point is that all of the 8 new infections divide into 2 classes of people, both infected by medical staff, a doctor and this nurse, who are both working with infected people at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. So that raises 2 huge questions. How did not 1, but 2 medical staff get infected in quarantine? And why were both of these staff not vaccinated already? In fact, 11% of frontline medical workers in Queensland are still not vaccinated. So blame the state government for letting unvaccinated staff still work with virus patients until today when they finally realised, well, that may not be a good idea. And blame Queensland's health minister for saying she'd actually held back some vaccine supplies from health workers so there'd be enough left for the second dose 3 weeks later.
We had to wait for consistency of supply. Also remember, we also had to keep some in reserve for the second vaccination.
Then Australia's Chief Medical Officer said, what? It's doing what? There's no need for Queensland to do what the Commonwealth Government was already doing for them.
We've been very clear in relation to the Pfizer vaccine, because the second dose needs to be given 3 weeks after the first, the Commonwealth, as part of our responsibility, will be keeping a second dose available for every single person that gets a first dose. There is no need for a state or territory to be keeping any vaccine aside for that purpose.
Seriously, is this Queensland government up to the job? But I guess we also should blame the Morrison government for not making good this promise from the Prime Minister back in January.
We anticipate, optimistically, that we would hope to start the vaccination with around 80,000 vaccinations a week. That's what we are targeting, and then seeing that build up over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we hope by the end of March, I should say, to have reached some 4 million population.
So you heard it, 4 million vaccinations were promised by the end of this month. We're nearly at the end of this month. What have we got? Just 600,000. What is taking so long?